Hi, I'm William Mills at FinovateFall in New York, and I'm pleased to be joined by Jon Lakeish, founder of the Lakfish Group. How you doing, Jon?
Doing awesome. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed your keynote session today on creating trust and loyalty through AI-enhanced customer experience.
I love
So,
it.
in an industry where trust is paramount, how and which specific AI applications have you seen to be most effective in building a customer confidence in their financial services providers?
Yeah, so the tools that my team use that we probably have the most trust in right now is ChatGPT. As long
Right,
as you've got all the settings done in the correct way, so you have the learning from your data setting turned off.
right,
Hopefully, you're on the Teams version or the Pro version or the
right,
Enterprise version because those tend to have security protocol in place that doesn't allow it to share your data with anybody.
right.
So when it comes to feeling like there's a sense of confidence around the data that you're sharing with these tools, I don't have an issue with it. And as I shared in the keynote, there are 5 million businesses in America now that have signed up for ChatGPT's enterprise account.
Right.
And they've done that because they have trust in the organization. If they didn't have trust, they wouldn't have 5 million business enterprise users already signed up in the last 12 months.
And it's amazing how fast they've grown. Last I
Yeah.
read, OpenAI had 12 billion in annual recurring revenue,
Isn't that crazy?
and they've just spun out in just the last few
Yeah,
years.
it's crazy. They have 800 million active weekly users, just ChatGPT alone. That doesn't include Claude
Right.
by Anthropic or Gemini by Google. That's just one LLM platform. So if you assume that that's the leader and the other platforms all have a large percentage of folks that are also using it, you're talking over 1 billion people every week are using some of these AI platforms.
I'm one of those.
Yeah,
But
me too.
but your financial relationship is paramount. Uh, and one of the most trusted resources a consumer or business is going to have. So financial institutions need empathy and efficiency. How do
Yep.
you advise banks and fintechs to strike the right balance between AI automation while maintaining the human connection
Yeah.
that customers crave?
There's a couple of ways that I would look at that. First and foremost, I think that whatever you have created by AI, it's only going to get you 70 to 80% of the way today.
Right,
In a year, maybe it's 85% of the way. But every time you do that, you should have a human who takes a quick look at it and makes sure that whatever it is that you're disseminating has a human feel to it. And then the second thing I would say is there are platforms coming out now that are agentic platforms, right?
right,
I mentioned one today in my presentation called Manus AI, which is one of my favorites. And when it comes to Manus, you can upload like a list of 1,000 people that you want to send an email to. And
right.
you can have Manus do research on each of those people's individual organizations they work for and research on those people individually. And you can train the platform on your brand. And then Manus can craft customized emails to every single person on that list and provide it to you in an Excel spreadsheet. And then you can go through and make sure that none of it feels robotic. But that's that next level of personalization
Right.
that even some tools like ChatGPT aren't allowed or able to do to the degree that an agentic platform is able to do right now.
Well, I have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Well, so implementing AI-driven customer experiences, what metrics and how do you measure the KPIs and which ones are providing the most value for customer loyalty and
Yeah.
satisfaction and trust?
Which AI platforms are providing the highest results for loyalty and trust? So again, I would say that ChatGPT tends to be the leader when it comes to the protocols that it's put in place when you're using the paid for versions, right? If you're choosing to use an AI platform like a DeepSeek
Right?
and you're not paying a penny for it, you don't get anything for free. So I
Right.
wouldn't be as trustworthy with platforms that are 100% free. Even if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, it's not as secure as the other version. So when you're
Right.
talking about trust and data, and then the other thing that we always do for our clients from marketing brand perspective, or that I train when I do AI workshops, is that when you use the AI tools, the ultimate goal is when you disseminate the information to your customers or a marketing campaign that was created by AI, you need to look at the data. And
Right.
you need to make sure that the data behind it, the open rate and the click-through rate and the follow-through rate and the go-to-market strategy, all that kind of stuff is set in such a way that the results are stronger. And if they're not stronger, here's one of the best parts about AI, is when the results aren't what you want to see, then you can go back into the platform like, hey, these are the results we saw in the last campaign or the last email that we sent or the content of the last ad that we created. it wasn't what we wanted to see. How would
Right.
you recommend that we make changes to the next version of this to make it more effective than the last?
Right.
And you're going to get ideas, and you can have that conversation with the platform where it will help you continue to build upon whatever scores, whatever trust indicators you've had in the campaigns that you've already sent.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, retailers have done a great job in hyper personalizations, but banks and other financial institutions have access to incredibly sensitive
Yeah,
customer data. How can companies navigate the hyper personalization while maintaining customer
the
privacy?
customer privacy. That's a big issue, and it's a question I get all the time when I speak to different audiences. The trust of the data kind of falls on two different things. One, I hate continuing to bring up ChatGPT because I'm not trying to sell people on that
Right,
specific platform. But I can tell you that when a platform like ChatGPT is partnered with your organization
right,
and you do the enterprise version, they have protocol in place where the data that's on your side is never shared publicly, period, end of story.
right,
That's why they have partnerships with the Department of Defense. That's why they have partnerships with the Department of Education,
right.
because these are highly sensitive organizations with data that cannot be shared. And they've developed a partnership that's allowed them to feel comfortable enough to allow their team members to use these tools and not feel like the data is being shared. So that's number one. Number two is you can always have somebody, my team has done this before, but we can put the protocol in place on your own servers. So there is no way for the external servers to come out and steal
Sure,
data, right?
sure.
So you get the best of both worlds. You're able to get the best result of the LLM platforms from all the information that they're able to scour for answers, while at the same time protecting all the information that you have on your side of the server. So that's kind of the perfect scenario if you can. And I also believe that as these tools continue to adapt, these things are going to become commonplace. The security is going to become normal, right? ChatGPT is in the middle of a lawsuit with the New York Times right now.
Right.
And the New York Times, the judges that are involved in that have told ChatGPT they have to keep all the information from every chat that's ever occurred on ChatGPT's platform.
Wow.
And that's a fear for a lot of people and organizations because they're scared of that information being disclosed to the courts. There's two things that can happen. One, a judge could come in and say, sorry, we overreached, and the only thing we need is the information that pertains specifically to the New York Times, which is probably what will end up happening. The second is if they uphold that, then ChatGPT is in the process now trying to find ways to encrypt data all the way through. So there
Ah,
won't be any way for anybody to ever see the conversation, kind of like why people use WhatsApp
right.
and things like that today. So you're going to see these protocols put into place to allow you to be even more protective of the data you have. So even if you're concerned today, give it a month, give it 2 months, give it 3 months. I think you're going to be much more comfortable with being able to do that, those type of
Well, it
tactics.
sounds like end-to-end encryption is the way everybody's going to go in
Yeah,
that area.
probably. That's what I'm thinking too.
So outside of ChatGPT, over the next 2, 3 years, which AI emerging technology do you think will most dramatically transform the relationship that customers have with their financial institutions? And how should
Yeah.
financial institutions be prepared today?
Yeah. So I think you're going to see more agentic platforms pop up. And when that happens, you're going to have folks who want to do all of their banking by literally instructing an agentic AI platform to do it for them. So the difference between an agentic platform and an LLM platform is an LLM will kind of it'll go through a process where it does one thing and then it does another.
Right,
Where an agentic platform will actually do several things at the same time,
right,
simultaneously, and it will be making decisions on your behalf based on what it knows about you. So I could see people in the future asking an agentic platform to help them with their banking, with their finances, with moving things from one account to another. And those tools, if given permission, will be able to do it by themselves. And that's the kind of stuff that I think the financial industry needs to be prepared for. That I will go into my Manus AI platform and say, hey, I've heard that NVIDIA stock looks like it might go up. Can you shift some funds from my Chase account over to my Fidelity account and purchase 200 shares of NVIDIA at the opening of the stock market tomorrow? And the system will actually do it all for you. But it all has to be protected, right? And we have to protect the data and all those kind of things. But that's the next step is you don't have to log on to Fidelity yourself and do the order. You just ask a platform to go and do it, or you ask a platform to do 15 different orders for you in one day, and it does it all at the exact time that you tell it that it needs to be done.
this kind of feels like the revolution, first when the PCs, then the internet and
Yeah.
dot-com days. It just feels like that
That's
time.
yeah, that's how I feel. I get excited because I feel like we're at this next stage of when Google first launched, and
Right.
our parents would say, well, why aren't you looking something up in the encyclopedia? And we're like, well, we don't need to. We've got Google, right? And
Right.
when Uber came out, well, we don't need to get a taxi cab anymore. We can literally use our phone and have them pick us up at our house and have it here in 3 minutes. And so it feels like it's that next step in technological advancement. And it's really fun to be on the edge of it and making sure that we do the right things with it, because there's always bad players. But my goal as I go around and talk to people about this is use the tools in a moral and ethical way to
Right.
boost your business, to help you personally, professionally, right? There's so many things these tools can do that it's going to become a part of our daily lives faster than anybody can imagine.
It is happening amazingly fast. So in closing, what is the one thing you want people to take away from the work that Lakefish Group is doing
Yeah.
and what we discussed today?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing I want to make sure everybody is aware of is my team and I are focused exclusively on making sure that we're on the cutting edge of all the tools that people can use today to benefit them from a
Right.
professional and personal perspective. So when I go and I do these keynotes and these workshops and I work with organizations on their marketing and branding, I'm not coming in and saying, hey, here's the 30,000 foot perspective. Someday you'll be able to do this. No, I'm coming in and I'm saying, hey, here are the tools you guys can use today.
Right.
Here's how you use them.
Right.
Get you excited about using them. And then the next morning you go to work and you're like, you know what? I'm going to plug into one of those LLMs this morning because I can save time with my weekly sales report or my email composition
Right.
or my analysis of the strategy for the next 3 months of the organization. And that should be something that the entire organization builds together, because as we bring on new team members, we're going to have to expect that they're going to be using AI. If they don't, they won't come to work for you. If your organization says we don't allow people to use AI, I guarantee you the 20-year-olds are going to go somewhere else where they are allowed to use it, because why would they waste their time on mundane tasks at your organization when it's somebody else's organization? They can have ChatGPT help them and remove 10, 20 hours of work a week and use that 10 to 20 hours to really do things that excite them about their career and their potential. So that's what I would say. That's what we do. We get people excited about AI. We help them with marketing and branding. We do workshops. And that's where the passion is for me, is to get out there and show people how to use these tools in an efficient way and give them a better quality of life starting immediately.
Well, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Finovate or other opportunity that you have with the fintech ecosystem here with
Sounds
Finovate.
good. I appreciate it. It's a
And
pleasure meeting you.
it's a pleasure meeting you, John. And
Thank you.
again, this is William Mills here at FinovateFall in New York.